Hello, how's everybody doing today? So I wanted to make a quick video talking about the prodigal son, and I could probably talk for months about the story because the story has so many intricate details. But I'm going to give you a quick overview and then give you kind of the cliff notes. So the prodigal son story has a father and two sons, and the youngest of the two sons goes to his father and he says, "I want the inheritance that's promised to me." Now, the way the Jewish culture works was the oldest son gets a double portion. So, for instance, let's say that a father had 9 kids. You would add the extra son's portion, which would make 10 kids. You'd split up all the assets, and then the oldest son would get 2 portions of that. Or if you had 5 sons, you split it up 6 ways, and the oldest son would get a double portion. So the father agrees that he's going to go ahead and give his son this inheritance. And the boy leaves, and it says that he goes into diverse places and he pretty much squanders the money until he's absolutely broke. And then he gets a job with a pig farmer, taking care of the pigs. And it says that the boy's sitting there in the pig pen, and he's looking at these pigs, and he's saying, you know, these pigs are getting treated better than me, and how he thinks that it would be a good idea to like eat the food the pigs get. And then he thinks to himself, you know, my father's got a lot of money, and even the hired servants have a better life than I do. Maybe I'll go to my dad and say, hey, listen, you know I made a mistake, but why don't you go ahead and make me your servant? I'm not worried that I'll be your son anymore. But maybe you can make me a servant, and that way he can at least have a better life. And he decides to go home, and his father sees him from a far away, and he says, "My son has come home." And he runs to him and he hugs him and he embraces him. And the son says, "You know, I've offended you and I've offended my God, and maybe I could, you know, be one of your servants and work for you. I mean, I'm not worried to be your son, but maybe I could, you know, be your servant and work for you." And the father says, "Oh, no, no." Calls the servants together, says, "Get the fattest calf. We're going to have a party." And the oldest son, seeing this, he gets very, very upset. And he says, "Father, I have been with you this whole entire time. You never threw a party for me." And he's really upset about the fact that his brother left, was just a horrible son. And now that he's come home, his father just forgives him and even throws a party for him. And the Jewish people here in the story would have a lot of really amazing ideas about this. First of all, the son asking for his inheritance was pretty much telling his father, "I wish you were dead." He's telling his father, "I wish you were dead, because you do not get an inheritance unless your father passes away." So he's telling his dad, "I wish you were dead." And then he goes and he leaves, and he goes in diverse places, which means he was hanging out with sinners and bad people, and then he went and got a job as a pig farmer, and the pigs were just that's a no-no for the Jews. You don't mess with pigs. So now, not only did you tell your father you wish you were dead, you left and you hung out with sinners, but now you're doing the most vile, awful thing you possibly can by taking care of pigs, eating the pigs' food and stuff like that. And then it says that when he got home, his father ran to him. That was also a no-no. When you become an old man, you never run. You always walk. You go very slowly. You never run. So that was an offensive thing that he would do. And then his father would be wearing robes. And so he would have to actually pull his robe up a little bit so he wouldn't trip on his robe. And it was also offensive to show your legs. So now this father's doing 2 offensive things. Not only is he running, not only is he showing his legs, but now he's forgiven his sinful, horrible son, who says he wishes he was dead and was hanging out with sinners and pigs and stuff. I mean, how dare him? And they would say, "Oh yeah, we agree with the other son. You know, why would you throw a party for this horrible child that told you he wishes he were dead, and he hung out with sinners and he hung out with pigs, and then how dare you go run to him and show your legs, and you're just, you know, basically he's basically now saying his dad's a horrible person for the things that he did. And it's basically a picture of God. God's sitting there. He has all these riches and his wealth, and he wants to give you all these benefits of being his child. And by you basically telling him, I don't want him, I don't want anything to do with you, you're like a sinner who falls astray. And if you go out there, like for instance me, I was a bad person. I denounced God. I said I'm not gonna hang out with God. But the Bible says that when the son came to himself, it says that basically this son realized, wow, look at all these bad things that I've done. I have hurt my God and my Father. I am a horrible, rotten sinner. How dare me? When you come to yourself, when you realize that you're a sinner, when you realize you deserve hell, when you realize all the bad things you've done, you come to yourself and you say, wow, I've hurt my Father. And so you come to your Father in humility and you say, Father, I have sinned against you. I have hurt you. I've done wrong things to you. I've said mean things to you. I've done bad things. Could you see in your heart just to forgive me? Just let me be your servant. Let me just serve you. I'm not worthy to be your son. When you come to that type of humility in your life, then you realize I've made a mistake. And I've talked to many people that say they're Christian, and I'm not saying they are or they're not. I'm not. I don't judge people like that. But everything's been given to them in a golden platter. And when the smallest little bitty small thing happens, they just lose their mind. Where with somebody like me that's basically just went through the mire and the muck and just had a horrible, I've done some really bad things. And I realize at my lowest, my breaking point, that I need God. There's not a whole lot of things that can happen in my life that I'm going to say, oh, I'm going to question my faith, because I've been through some really, really bad things. And God was there for me, and I see that. So no matter what I go through, I'm going to know that, God's there for me. But if you've never been through those bad things, you don't really know that. And you start questioning things. So I think it's better to be the son that have realized, that have came to himself, that I've just done bad, horrible things. And I need God. I need him to forgive me. I need to tell him I'm sorry and just accept me. Than to just live your life all like it's perfect, because sometimes when bad things happen, you start to question your faith. Why do these things happen to me? What have I done wrong? But the truth is that the devil and his minions are gonna test you and tempt you and just give you just put you through the ringer, basically. And the more strength that you have, the more you can avoid his temptations and his tests. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to share that video, this video with you about the prodigal son. And I almost want to say that the oldest son is the prodigal son. The oldest son hasn't learned. He just thinks that he's, Mr. Goody Two-Shoes, that he deserves whatever because, he didn't leave. But he wasn't happy that his brother came home. He wasn't happy that after all these years of being lost, he was finally found. But, whatever. But I love that story because it really reminds me of my life. I mean, I pushed God away, and I just said I don't want anything to do with him. And when I got to the lowest part of my life, I realized, what am I doing? I cannot do this myself. I have tried things my way so many times, and it just doesn't work. And I gave God just the smallest little inkling of, come on, I'll let you try, basically. And he's done so much for me. He showed me an everlasting love that I can't imagine. I look at the past of my life and I see all the fingerprints of God where he was there for me when I didn't realize it. And I just thank God so much for what he's done for me. And now because of me going through all those bad things, I now know that no matter what happens, God's there. I could be tortured, I could be beat, I could be killed, and it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, I'm going to be his son. I'm going to be with him in heaven. And so anyways, I just wanted to share that with you. Like the video, comment below. Tell me what you think. Have you ever been through a situation like this? What have you thought about the prodigal son? You know the story? Anyways, just let me know. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. Have yourself a great day, and hopefully I'll make another video for Revelations in a couple days. Bye-bye.